News18 को स्वागत करुछि मु गायत्री। आसंता काली संसद रे आगत हेबो 2022-23 आर्थिक वर्ष पई साधारण बजेट आउ यहा पूर्वरु संसद रे उपस्थापित होछि 2021-22 आर्थिक वर्षर सर्वे रिपोर्ट। केंद्र अर्थमंत्री निर्मला सीतारमण लोकसभा रे सर्वे रिपोर्ट उपस्थापन करिसेंती। 2022 आर्थिक वर्ष रे देशर अभिवृद्धि हार 9.2% रही पारे। सेहिपरि 2022-23 आर्थिक वर्ष रे देशर जीडीपी 8 रु 8.5% रहिबा अनुमान करा जायछि सर्वे रिपोर्ट रे। यह बात कृषि अभिवृद्धि हार महामारी कोरोना पई प्रभावित होइतबा जणा पड़िछि। चलित आर्थिक वर्ष रे कृषि क्षेत्र रे अभिवृद्धि हार 3.9% रहिबो। पूर्व वर्ष रे यह 3.6% रहितला। 2022-23 आर्थिक वर्ष रे देशर अर्थनीति समस्त चैलेंज रो सामना करिबारे सक्षम हेबो।
Advisor Dr. Arvind Vimani, perhaps to explain the predicaments of that time. So you began to see a shift, somewhat of a shift from the purely sectoral approach to adding more themes. And it became a longer document, certainly by 2011-12 that you have on the screen. It was by this point almost 500 pages long. Now, it then became split into two volumes in 2014, but that was a split in 2014 into a text volume, which was mostly done in a sectoral format, and a statistical appendix volume. So there was two volumes, but in this format. But in the subsequent years, it ended up with a volume 1 and a volume 2. The first volume tended to have thematic chapters, and the second had the more traditional chapters from the sectoral type chapters. That has now been changed in this economic survey, and this is what it looks like. There is a volume 1, or you can call it the text volume, the economic survey itself. That is the main volume which we just released. But there is a second volume which is the statistical appendix, and it's been given a character of its own. It's been refreshed. Many old tables have been removed, new tables have been added. For example, new kinds of data like GST, IGST and so on have been added. There's a whole new section on high frequency indicators as well, in line with some of the thinking that I will now talk about. Now to the content of the economic survey of this year. Now, one of the clear points we make right up front in the survey is that there's been a revival of economic activity to pre-pandemic levels in the year 21-22. This shows through in the national accounts, and it shows through a whole bunch of high-frequency data that we have. I've just, for illustration, put the e-way bill collection, and you can see that there was a big contraction during the national lockdown last year, then a sharp revival, a more shallow slowdown during the second wave. So even though there was the health cost of the second wave was much more severe, the economic cost of it by almost all accounts was much milder, but there was an impact, and then a subsequent revival. So where does that leave us? Well, as you know from the advanced estimates, the economy this year is estimated to have grown by 9.2% after a contraction of 7.3% in the previous year. And you can see on the slide on the right that it is now a little bit above where it was in terms of economic activity, where it was before the pandemic. So in other words, we have now grown past the pre-pandemic level. What does it mean in terms by sector? This sectorally, we tend to look at it as a GVA, or gross value added perspective. And you can see what happened to different sectors, and the very last column is a comparison with the pre-pandemic